Okay, hello my good people. Today I'm doing a very exciting get ready with me using new products, which not all new products. I don't have that many new things, but this is not something that happens often, okay? How's my low buy going? You may ask. Not great. It was also my birthday last month, so I purchased a few things, I received a few things, and I just thought that it would be fun to try them together. Some of these things I've used, most I haven't. Let's just start. Also, if you see my nails and you're horrified by the way they look because they're stained yellow, it's not in fact because I am a smoker. It is because I was wearing yellow nail polish. I'm a fucking lazy ass bitch and I don't use base coat, and so they're stained. And I'm gonna paint them when I'm done this to cover this up. Anyway, let's start. So I'm just gonna start using my normal priming routine. I'm going to start using the Makeup Forever mattifying primer, and then I'm going to use the e.l.f. poreless putty primer. I actually bought a new foundation this past month. I bought the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. I have the shade 00A Porcelain. This is an old foundation, not like this bottle, obviously this product. And it has been super hyped. I've been wanting to try it for a while, and I was just like, let's do it. I'm also going to mix it with my L'Oreal True Match Lumi Lotion. And I have to say, I've been enjoying this a lot, actually. Quite a lot. It's definitely full coverage, for sure. And a little thick. So if you don't like thicker foundations, you probably won't like this, but I have been a fan. The shade is maybe like a little bit too dark for me, but I can make it work. And I recently bought the e.l.f. buffing foundation brush, and I've been loving using this. The way that it just like blends foundation in is so nice, and it's rivaling my Real Techniques buffing brush, I think. Obviously with this L'Oreal product mix in, it's going to have a little bit more of a luminous finish. Like it is going to be a little bit more glowy than it in its natural state. But I find that it has on its own a really nice natural finish. It's not super matte, but it's not like super dewy, which is kind of my preference. And it wears really well. It looks really beautiful on the skin. And the coverage is like definitely like a fuller medium that can be built up. And but it doesn't look super heavy. I do really enjoy this, and it's fun to, try a product that was once upon a time so popular and have it work, which is also a plus. Blends super well as well. Like, it's a really solid foundation in my opinion. Okay, I'm gonna quickly hop off camera and do my brows, and then I'll be back to zoom in and do some eyes. Okay, my brows are done. They're looking a little bit crazy right now, but it's fine. So the palette that I'm going to be using today is very exciting. My lovely girlfriend bought me the Melt Smoke Sessions palette for my birthday. One that I've been wanting more recently, now that my makeup styles has changed a little bit. I don't know, like it wasn't one previously that I was like lusting after, but now these tones are just beautiful, and I have really no issue pairing it with other palettes that I have. So I'm excited to just like use it and just like give it a go. I'm gonna pair this with the Melt Gemini palette today. It's a oldie but a goodie, if you will. I'm going to start with the shade Lorelei, which is this mustard. It's like easily my favorite shade in the palette. I'm not doing anything crazy today, just, you know, chilling. I want to do something that's more like brownie neutral as opposed to using the greens, but I feel like the Gemini and this palette pair really well together, or will pair really well together. This mustard is glorious. What have you guys been up to? How have you been doing? What's the sitch? I've been doing more get ready with me's, but I feel like I haven't done get ready with me's frequently in so long that I'm like, talk to me, tell me about yourselves, you know, tell me what's going on. Last night my girlfriend and I went to a barbecue for my lab that I'm in, kind of just as like a lab get together, connecting with like current and past researchers and stuff like that. Very, like, we have a very small lab group, especially now, but it was very happy, but also a little bittersweet, because it's moments like that I'm so happy to like be able to connect with people and talk to people that are in my field, and, you know, like have like face-to-face contact now that everyone is double vaccinated and we can like socially distance or whatever outside. But it also makes me a little bit sad because I realize how much, like 75% of my master's I've done online or distanced in some way, and it just makes me sad for the like community that I've missed. I'm just gonna go into the shade Polka Dot now and just bring that all through my crease. But yeah, the community that I've missed, the connections, like I, for a long time also was the only like student in my lab, so I didn't really have like, I had people in my office, but then when you stop going in your office, you're not connecting with people, and all the conferences that I was supposed to go to obviously got canceled, and it's just like, I don't know, it makes me just a little bit sad that I feel like the part of grad school, like connecting with other researchers and discussing your research with other students and profs and events and conferences and stuff, it's like, that's honestly half the gaining of knowledge. That's half of like the process, and I just missed so much of it. And I didn't really like, I was in my house so much that I didn't like form that many like connections. Like I didn't have that many lab members, or at least lab members that like I was with a lot, and my field seasons were cut short, and I didn't like, we weren't able to stay in like the field house with people, and it's just like, I don't know, it just makes me sad. So that's not an uplifting update from me, but it's just like, you think you're positive about COVID ending, or not that COVID's ending at all, but like at least where I live, cases are getting a bit better. Obviously the Delta variant is like very concerning, but it's just like, I just feel like I'm constantly reminded, or like every so often you'll be reminded of like, oh yeah, that is something that like COVID kind of took away from me, even though I've been overwhelmingly lucky and privileged during this pandemic in so many ways. But it's just made me a little sad, but it's fine. You know, at least I'm hopefully finishing soon. My thesis is shaping up really well. I'm really happy with my results and all that stuff. And I don't know, I guess it's time to just work for a bit. I'm not necessarily counting out not doing a PhD, but or I'm not counting out doing a PhD, but that's not a decision that I'm ready to make right now. Okay, I haven't used this palette in a while. I haven't used Melt Shadows in a while. And like, I don't know if, is Gemini considered a good palette? I think so, right? I haven't used like a bad Melt palette yet, but I really love Melt's formula, honestly, even though I don't know what the fuck is going on with them recently. All right, you guys, let's dip into the Smoke Sessions palette. Like I said, I'm going to use the more kind of neutrally side today, so I'm going to go into the shade Sour Diesel as I flip you off, and just run that through my crease. I guess this is kind of like greeny, huh? I don't know why I thought it was more brown. Anyway, we're gonna use it. This is why you look at the shadows that you're using before you start your look, okay? But I feel like this will blend fine into the brown. Let's hope anyway. I do love the depth in here. When this palette first came out, I was like, love the tones, love the colors. But what am I gonna do with mattes that are so like dark on their own? Like what? And now I'm like, give me all the dark mattes. I don't care if I have to use other palettes with them. The thing that's missing in makeup the most, in my opinion, is dark mattes. Speaking of, this, not really speaking of, but you know what? Another thing that happened recently, okay, it's like good and bad, right? So I feel like I'm going on a roller coaster with Adept, okay? It's always usually like my fault, but I keep missing my opportunities to get all their fucking special palettes, all right? And I had finally I'd come to terms with the fact that I was never going to get Plain Jane, 9 Hydran, or Kodan, okay? I was like, these palettes, you know, other people love them and have them. I just have to accept, like, it's not going to be for me, all right? Like, it's fine. It's makeup. Just fucking, like, get over it. Lo and behold, I go on Instagram a couple days ago. They're like, due to demand, we're going to be releasing how many times have they said they're going to be releasing these palettes again for the last time because of demand? Like, and every time I believe them, and like I want to believe them now because like you don't want to like miss out, or even though I have every single time so far, and they're so expensive, so I'm like, you know what, I saved myself so much money, like it's fine, it's good in the end. And now I'm like, my girlfriend was like, if you don't buy those palettes, I'm going to like kill you, because every time I'm like, oh my god, these palettes are coming back, and then I'm like, I missed the restock. But like, does anyone else like low-key think it's kind of, I mean, I don't know anything, right? Okay, just like, let's keep this in mind. I don't know anything. I don't know about makeup business. I don't know about what it's like to run a brand, you know? I don't know any of like the behind the scenes stuff, but like, it seems a little bit shady to me that they keep being like, this is the last time ever that we're releasing these palettes. We're reformulating our whole like shadow line. This is the last like limited restock. And then they're like, a couple months later, they're like, haha, it's coming back. And typically I'm like, okay, it doesn't always bother me. I know some people take issue with like brands saying that something's limited edition and then bringing it back. But this is like the one time, I mean, actually it's kind of like nice for me because then I actually have a chance to get it. But, it just feels odd to me. If anyone else feels that way, let me know. I also think it's the way that the brand owner of Adept like talks online and talks on their Instagram is interesting to me. It's like, I think it honestly comes down to just like how people communicate differently. And it's definitely not something that would make me personally as a consumer like not buy from them, but it's just like so bizarre to me the way that they like post and respond to people. It's interesting. I don't know. It's just like the tone of their messages and just like the way that they've been addressing like their shipping costs and stuff for international customers. It's like, yes, we ship internationally, but you might, if you're international, like you probably don't even want to check because like it's going to be so expensive. And it's like, it just feels like an odd way to talk about things. That's just my opinion, but anyway. So that's new also. So RIP to my bank account. I think if I remember correctly, they said that they were gonna restock in September, but I don't fucking know. Alright, you know what? I'm a fan. I like this matte. I'm liking these colors in my crease. I love the grungy depth of this. Like, yes. Okay. So now, what shade am I gonna use? This is the question. I think I'm gonna go into the shade Black Widow, which is this like almost olivey green. We'll see how these shimmers perform because melt shimmers are very mostly miss for me, to be honest. I'm gonna spray that and just put this all over my lid. Ooh, she's nice. She's nice. I don't know why I thought this side was more neutral. Like in my mind, I was like, oh, these are bronzes. Not bad, just I don't know why I thought that. But this is like the best palette combination. This and the Gemini are like, you can't get a better palette combo. I'm actually very pleasantly surprised by this shimmer. It's like pretty metallic and bright, has some interest to it. It lays down well. It's not so flaky and like difficult to use as the Gemini palette shimmers are. I'm gonna go into my finger with Black Widow and tap this on. And now I'm gonna go into a little bit of Gravity OG, which is this gold shade. And I'm going to pat this just on the center. Ooh, that is nice. As far as my understanding goes, I think that perhaps Melt reformulated this palette because I know people were having issues with the shimmers being really fragile, but these shimmers feel very much like the Vita and Muerte shimmers, which I liked definitely better than the Gemini shimmers. Okay, so I'm going to conceal now because my eyes are basically done. That didn't even really take that much effort and I love it. So I'm going to, I guess, zoom out a little. Sure. I'm going to use my e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. This is matte, the matte finish. And you know what I'm actually going to do? Okay, so I'm going to put this on my under eyes first. And I've been liking this concealer, but I feel like I have some issues blending it. Like it's matte and it doesn't blend as well as I want. So I'm going to take my setting spray. This is the Maybelline Glass Spray. I'm going to like spray this a little bit into my sponge and blend it out and see if that helps. This is a little bit of like a dewier finish spray, which also could make me hate my base. Oh, you know what? I actually forgot that I have a different concealer to use. Maybe I'll use that around my face. Shit. But I will say that helped blending. Okay, I don't know if it's gonna like crease or not last that well on me now that I've done that, but it helped a lot with the blending. I actually got the Ordinary Full Coverage High Coverage Concealer. I was making an Ordinary order and I saw that they have a concealer and it was only $5 Canadian, so I was like, let me get it. And I have the shade 1.0 N, or no, what shade is this? 1.0 NS, which I think is supposed to be like neutral undertone, or like for fair skin. I don't know. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of this on the back of my hand and just put this all around the rest of my face. I guess like around my nose, on my chin. It feels thick. Historically, I haven't loved concealers like this. Just that or in a squeezy tube, but I'm using the other side of my sponge also that doesn't have that spray on it. I mean, that's fine so far. The real test, I guess, is going to be putting it on my face, on my pimples. Although I do use like a pretty good amount of concealer on the daily, so I feel like I might go through this pretty quickly because it's only 8 mils. I don't know, I think that looks fine. It covers my blemishes, I think, pretty well. I mean, for me, it's half how it covers, half how it wears. It's only so good as how it wears, but I think that's fine. It's not like super heavy coverage, but I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to just hop off camera and do my powder, and then I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I'm looking a little crazy, as always at this point, but that's fine. I'm just gonna take that shade Polka Dot and run that all along my lash line, my lower lash line. And now I'm gonna take the shade Sour Diesel and take this all along my lower lash line. I've been loving this brush. This is the Sigma E30 for just placing shadow all along my lower lash line. It's like perfect. You barely need to blend it after. I love it. And then I'm going to take the shade Lorelei and blend that all out. Now I'm going to go into a Terra Moon shade that I recently ordered. This is the shade Light Year. I've used this once before and it was a glorious time. I'm not going to wet this, but I'm just going to take this on a little flat brush and put this on my inner corner. I think the tone of this, because it's like greeny and gold, will work really well. I mean, this is so fucking nice. Oh my god. I was so skeptical of Terra Moons. Like, I was intrigued, but I was like, there's no way that it can't be as good as people think, or as people say it is. And it is. I love it. This definitely gives me, though, Kaleido Space Age Prophecy highlighter vibes, I want to say. Like, I think it gives a similar effect. Ooh, maybe I should use that highlighter today. Now I'm going to contour using my Kevyn Aucoin sculpting powder in medium. Look at this pan. It's going. I'm still watching Real Housewives of New Jersey, going strong. I'm on season 6 currently. Love Teresa, always loved Teresa from the very beginning. Season 4 for her was a little bit of a crazy time, but she was going through a lot. Who else? Dina, I love Dina. I've always loved Dina also from the very beginning. Dina is a MILF. I love her so much. I think she is the best. She's easily one of my favorite housewives. Melissa and Joe are entertaining. I don't fully trust Melissa. I think she can be a little bit shady. I mean, as they all can be. Amber and her fucking husband are insane. And fuck her husband. He's such a douchebag. Honestly. I'm going to bronze now using my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. Do you guys watch Real Housewives? Let me know. What are your favorite cities? Who are your favorite housewives? I'm on season 6 of New Jersey. I've watched Salt Lake City, only has 1 season, it's new, which I did thoroughly enjoy, I'm not gonna lie to you. And I've watched parts of New York City with my girlfriend because she has watched most of them, I think. Most of the big ones. That was very entertaining. I'm a fan of the franchise. I'm going to just spray my face using the Maybelline Glass Spray. I'm going to use the Kaleido Space Age Prophecy highlighter because I think it's going to go so well. I'm going to take a little bit of this on my brow bone. I'm just going to take like this single eyeshadow by CoverGirl in Champagne and put this on my Cupid's bow. And you guys, this is the most exciting part of this whole video. Okay, I also went to a physical Sephora store for the first time since I think the pandemic. And I decided to treat myself to a Pat McGrath blush. You heard me right. I haven't used this. I've been saving it for this video. This is what it looks like. You already know. Oh my god, how exciting. I got the shade Desert Orchid, which is this beautiful rosy brown shade. You guys, it's so pretty. And I wanted to get a shade that's going to be like a bit of a more neutral for me, just because I think I'm gonna get a ton of wear out of it on the day-to-day. And I feel like there's a little bit of a hole in my collection in terms of neutral blushes that still are going to make an impact, and I'm so excited. I've also recently been liking to use like a little like highlighting brush almost for my blush. I just feel like it makes it like placement a little bit more precise. So this is it. This is the moment. This is the first moment. And I'm just going to do my normal blush placement. This is also one of the glowy blushes, I think, from her. Like, not glowy necessarily, but like more of a satin non-matte finish. But when I went in store and saw all the shades in person, I was like, ooh, I want all of these shades. But then I was also more certain that I wanted this one. This is like kind of exactly what I have been looking for. That's pigmented. Actually, like the one I think that's called like Love Struck or Desert Bloom, maybe the one that's like an orangey coral shade, looks so beautiful. The pink one I also want, although I think it's less of a bright pink in person and more of like a little bit more of a toned down pink, but I love me some pink blush. That's nice. That's super nice. That blended like a dream. Oh my god. Yes. Okay, you guys, so I just finished up my look because my camera stopped filming. But I just like finished my blush, put some freckles on, and then finished up the rest of my face like I would anyway, so you really didn't miss anything. This blush, this is the first time that I've used this blush. Love it so much. It's exactly what I was looking for in terms of the color. It's neutral for me, whereas it's like not super peachy or pink or anything like that. Like it's definitely like a browny, rosy tone, but it has enough like rose in it that it's not like, it doesn't look like a bronzer, you know, like it's not an extension of my bronzer. It looks like I'm wearing blush, but it's just not like overpowering, and I just love it, especially with like these kind of tones like greens or even like blues, although I feel like it might be a little bit rosy for blues, but this is like the perfect blush for me to wear if I need to wear like a neutrally blush or with greens. I'm very looking forward to that. And then on my lips, I used the NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner in the shade Cold Brew, which is a new lip liner to me. I did buy this recently this past month because I've been looking for a cool toned Well, I've been looking for a dark brown lip liner, and every time I go to the NYX stand, I see like, oh, they have a dark brown lip liner, but it's always out of stock. And so I saw that this was in store the other day, and I was like, yes, and I snatched it up. I do like it. It's very red toned though. Like, it's a red toned brown, almost a burgundy. So it's not quite what I was looking for. I'm still on the hunt for like a darker, cool toned brown lip liner, but it's fine. It's good. I've been liking it. I've been enjoying it. It's something a little bit different for me. And then I also used the ColourPop Creme Lipstick in the shade What's Your Sign, which is right in front of me. And then I put a little bit of concealer in the middle just to lighten it up. Overall, love. I actually am impressed and happy with everything. Most of this wasn't a first impressions, but I really like the Milani foundation. I've used that before. The Ordinary concealer actually surprised me. I think it's nice. Obviously, I haven't worn it, but I like the consistency. I like the way it blends. I like the coverage. I've been impressed by the Ordinary's complexion products, actually. Love the Smoke Sessions palette, the 3 shades that I've tried. This matte blended out really well, and I'm very pleasantly surprised by these shimmers. I think they're much more impactful than I was expecting, easier to work with than I was expecting, and overall, like, very happy that I have this, and I think it makes like the perfect companion palette to the Gemini palette. Not that the Gemini palette needs a companion, but I think they work together so beautifully, and I just love how this look came out, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as well, my random ramblings. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time, and goodbye.